Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? We're going to take a second here, let some people join the server. While we wait for a moment, I'm excited to get things started, but we're going to be patient, let folks get here again into the server. If you guys do not know, my name is Andre, and I have been working with AMZ Scout now for over 2 years. Love AMZ Scout. We've been really fortunate, I feel like, to have some of the tools from AMZ Scout to help benefit the business. And I'm excited to show those to you guys today. In the meantime, while we wait to get started here, I'm just curious as to where everyone is from. I am here in upstate New York, not New York City. We're about like an hour plane ride from New York City or about 5-hour drive from New York City. We're really close to Canada, Toronto. Anyone here from Toronto, or where else are you from? I'm interested to know. Someone from Arizona, awesome. I've actually never been to Arizona. Montreal, Quebec, awesome, beautiful. Nice. Starting to get cold here in New York. I'm sure it's the same in Montreal. Spain, nice, awesome. I was just in Sevilla, Spain on a little trip. It was amazing. I had a great time. London, nice. I'm actually going to the UK July next year. I'm excited. It's my first time in the UK. So if you have any recommendations, my UK folks, let me know. Scottsdale, nice, awesome, cool. Definitely have to check out Arizona. I haven't been to Arizona or Las Vegas. I'm excited to try to go to both of those places in 2025. I was actually supposed to go to Las Vegas this month, but I was in Europe for 3 weeks and it was just like a lot of travel, so we decided not to go. Again, guys, we're just going to wait like 1 or 2 more minutes, let some people get into the server here so we have everyone nice and ready. If you like taking notes, I recommend that you do so, or even just honestly some screenshots. We're going to go over some important things today. I believe this is my 4th webinar with AMZ Scout now. And every single time, always have a good turnout. Everyone, it always works best when everyone interacts and talks. So definitely write some messages in the chat, again, where you're from, as well as some questions that you have along the way. We're going to take some time at the end of the webinar to go over all your different questions, make sure we touch on a lot of, some of the different tools, but also some of the different methodologies, the strategies. Got someone from Los Angeles. Again, another place. I've never been to California. I feel like I've been more places outside of the States than I've been inside of the States. So I got to do some more traveling inside the U.S. We just came from Europe. We were in Italy, Spain. We traveled around. We had an amazing time. Anyone from Italy here? I don't know if I've seen anyone from, I think maybe last webinar we had someone from Italy. I feel like we had such a good time in Italy. It was amazing. Nothing against Spain. Spain was good too, but I've been to Spain a bunch of times. Again, we'll take about 1 more minute here. If you guys have something to write with, or if you're just taking notes on your computer screen, I highly encourage it. Just because there's a lot of information, you want to be able to kind of organize some of it. That's just at least how I do well. Organize the information, refer back to it at a later point. I really think the more organized you are, just in life in general, especially in business, it makes such a difference. So we're going to get started. And today, I've done 4 of these, and every time I feel like we get to a little bit better. We get to focus and filter down what is the best content for you guys. What is, going to have the most lasting impression for you guys. And really what that comes down to is building a long-lasting brand on Amazon that can generate you $10,000 a month. And, there are some important things that lead up to that figure of $10,000 a month. I want to show you those things. And then I want to show you some Patreons, some people that I've been mentoring that have exceeded that $10,000 a month. We have some screenshots from some folks that I've been working with now. 2 folks who I've been with for 8 months. They put 8 months into their Amazon business, and they have a lot of growth. And I have some family members that say the proof is in the pudding. So we're going to show you that today. We're going to show you some screenshots of what they've been able to accomplish. Again, this is going to be the entire process from A to Z. It's going to be a lot of information. So make sure you guys are taking notes, and let's get right into how to generate $10,000 in passive income. Awesome. So, just to start off, again, my name is Andre. I created the brand Success to Selling about 6 years ago. I quit my full-time job. I had health insurance, a 401k. I was in corporate America. I wouldn't say happy. I would say like I was yearning for something more. So I took the leap, and fast forward 6 years later, I'm in a position where I own 4 different businesses inside e-commerce, like Success to Selling, and my different brands on Amazon. And it's been amazing, honestly. Of course, I've had some hardship. There was a portion where I first started where it was just a lot of work and a little bit of reward. But the snowball effect of, getting momentum and that carrying through in your life is super, super valuable, super important. So I want to touch on a few of those things today. I want to keep things really interesting and really authentic, very transparent. So this is really, this is just me, right? So I don't want to sugarcoat anything for you guys. I want to give it to you as it really is, and one of those things is starting any endeavor. You need to really find your motivation. You need to find your why. And for everyone, that looks different. And for me, there's many different things, but I think of a few things that I use to motivate myself every single day. Every single day, I think of these things because I know that putting them in my head will really help me get some extra momentum or some extra motivation, as we said. One of them is my family. This is a picture of my wife and I, and she's really helped me a lot through this entire process of starting my first business to where we are now. And she's one of my big motivators. I also think outside of the family, I do it for my family to put food on the table. That's great. You need that. But you also need things that are fun, right? And one of them for me is cars. So this is a picture of my car. And my friends are funny. They always, take pictures of my car while I'm driving it so I can have it as my background. But in reality, cars are a big motivator for me. They're expensive. And to be able to drive different cars, own different cars, has always been a passion of mine. And let's just be honest, the world operates with money, right? So in order to do those things, I need to think of those motivators. Cars is a big motivator for me. Anyone else in the chat love cars? Let me know what car you drive, and is it fast or not? Last big motivator for us, we just talked about travel. My wife and I, we just came back from a 3-week trip in Europe, and travel is one of our big motivators while we work so hard, because it just gives you opportunity to, experience different culture, different food, different people. I absolutely love that. And this big trip we just took, I had to save and prioritize. And again, I used it as a piece of motivation. So this is just a good quick slide to tell you, find your reason why, and don't be afraid to write it down, take a picture of it, use it to motivate yourself, put it as your background. I actually had a picture of this car as my background on my computer before I bought it. Like that was a thing I had. I talked it into fruition. Also drop in the comments if you know what car that is. I'm interested to see if anyone knows what car that is. Find your reason why and really hold on to that. It's honestly a lot more powerful than you may think to have a goal towards working towards, or a goal to help motivate you. And that's really what develops Success to Selling. And the brand is exactly what it stands for, is how can you be successful when selling things specifically on Amazon. Let's get into who this webinar is going to cater to. Again, I just want to be transparent. I want this to be a good fit for you guys. So if you want to make passive income, if you want to potentially quit your 9-to-5, if you want to be your own boss, if you want to have that financial freedom, you want to gain real life skills in the business space. It's a very broad spectrum of things we're going to talk about today, but all those things are super, super valuable. And, being your own boss comes with a lot of benefits. Quitting your job comes with a lot of benefits. Having the passive income and then financial freedom to do different things of travel and support your family and buy your dream car, whatever those things may be. That's what we're going to use as a foundation. So let's get into the nitty gritty. The presentation is going to be broken up into parts. Again, if you're taking notes, maybe you might want to label these parts so you have some key points to refer back to. And we're going to start off with, is Amazon dead? We'll get into some product research techniques. We're going to do a live demo and actually feature the AMZ Scout tools that I use every single day. When I say every day, I actually mean every single day. I use them because I'm looking for new products. I'm monitoring my own products. I'm helping folks find products, and you need tools to do so. So I'm excited to do a live demo with you guys today. We're going to talk about trademark and branding, which is, I feel like, one of the most slept on aspects of this Amazon business. You really need to focus on that in order to find a level of success long term. We're going to talk about how to get the fastest and cheapest shipping. We're going to talk about how to set up your Seller Central account, listing your product step by step, and the top 5 Amazon FBA mistakes I see most frequently. So if you want to take a little screenshot of this, just so you have it to refer back to, and when you take notes, it's a good time to do so. And let's talk about the first topic, which is Amazon dead? I'm sure if you've been on YouTube or you've seen some video, someone saying, Amazon's dead with a tombstone with Amazon's name on it. And, I think if you have the perspective of selling on Amazon like you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago, then it is. But of course you have to adapt and change, and Amazon is not dead. It has plenty of opportunity on it with the right pathway. So I want to touch a little bit on what that looks like, and really, the global reach of Amazon, having over 300 million active customers and accounts worldwide. That is a staggering figure of folks that are on their computer, just like you and I are, or on their phone, just like you and I are, and they're constantly shopping. They're on the platform to shop, to buy things. So you have a large portion of people that is constantly growing on the platform. Really, really important. Also, over 200 million Prime members. Of that 300 million active users, 200 million are Prime, including strong customer loyalty and repeat purchasing. I myself, even though I sell things on Amazon, I also buy things on Amazon. My wife does, my family does, my friends do. I mean, everyone I know is buying something on Amazon, which just translates to the opportunity for you to sell things to those people, right? That's a really important thing to, why there's a lot of potential on Amazon. The diverse revenue streams, Amazon Marketplace success, the third-party sellers, which is folks like you and I, makes up over 60% of Amazon's total sales in recent years, which is huge. Amazon has a lot of brands themselves, Amazon Basics, but a lot of sales occur on the platform from folks just like you and I, who are actually not touching any physical product in most cases if we're using certain fulfillment services, which we'll get into. Amazon is a huge, huge company that is constantly trying to find ways to innovate through technology, and it's AI and automation, and their continuing investment in the AI improves customer experience and operational efficiency. And they have new services coming to the platform every day, like expansion into grocery, healthcare. You can even potentially buy a car on Amazon soon. I mean, the options are very endless on Amazon. And this just really goes into the opportunities for new sellers. It's a vast market potential with tons of new niches, from pet products to products of sustainability and things that are new to the market that Amazon hasn't seen last month, last year. Things are coming to the platform new every single day, which I always find so interesting. Whenever I'm doing product research and just browsing the platform, you're seeing new things on a regular basis that you had no idea it even existed. And you think to yourself, like, that's an amazing idea. For instance, I saw today, I don't know if I would ever buy this, but a umbrella that straps to your head, right? So like, I have a media company and I like to take pictures, maybe if it's out in the rain, and then I have to try and do, holding an umbrella. But then I saw this and I was like, it looks kind of funny because you have an umbrella strapped to your head, but what an amazing idea. And then I was like, what is the sales volume? What's the competition level? Should I start selling this head strapped umbrella? So just like it just sparks a lot of ideas into you. And one of the last things that's really important here is the continuous learning and community support. If you guys didn't know, there's a seller university, which is free resources on Amazon, and then communities like you're a part of right now, which is AMZ Scout, and the constant attention or constant focus or constant, development of new tools and new forms of AI that are being involved into e-commerce in general is just amazing. So in conclusion, there's tons of opportunity on Amazon. It's not one of those things that you can just list a product and think you're going to make $10,000 a month. No, there's a very specific process that you need to follow, in which doing so, there's a large opportunity for success. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes, right into the heart of everything, and that's in-depth product research. You can't find a product unless you do in-depth product research, and you can't do product research unless you have a tool to help you do that product research. Before you use any tool, I like to think about a few main points. And these are three main points that I talk about regularly, which is a high price point, advancing capacity, and niche expansion. We're going to get into each one of these three quickly now. So again, take some notes here to understand this strategy and what it means. And the first is a high price point. So this is just a random product that I found on Amazon. It's a dash cam, and basically just monitors your driving. You mount it on the window or on your dash if the camera is pointing forward. And you have two products here, and one is listed for $140. One is for $160. Now you're thinking, there's two ends of the price spectrum, expensive and inexpensive. I want to be on the inexpensive side because folks want the quote unquote cheapest, less expensive things. And reality, that's not always the case. And what I found is that these two products are in the same niche. They have the same function. They have the same box size, which means they have the same Amazon fees, which means they have the same freight forwarding costs from your supplier to the Amazon fulfillment center. Why? It makes more sense to be on the higher end of that price spectrum because your profit margin is a lot higher. And consumer reports are showing that folks are looking for something that has longevity rather than the inexpensiveness of that product. So again, I see a higher volume of sellers wanting to sell a cheaper item, but I see more folks buying the more expensive item with the intention of having it longer. And then as the benefit as a seller, you then receive a higher profit percentage on that product. So a high price point on the higher end of that spectrum, super important. And this is just, done again by a tool. This is the AMZ Scout Pro extension. And if you look here at the top, you'll be able to see the average price of a product. I really like to do that because this will help me set my price against my competitors, whether I want to be competitive against those competitors at the top of that price spectrum, or, if you choose to sell a less expensive version of that product. Next is advancing capacity. This is like one of the most important things you can do when you're really trying to develop your product. And that is go in, click on the reviews and see what are the negative reviews on the product. You'd be really surprised to see that like every customer that has a problem with it is going to then put it in their review. And then if you go and categorize those reviews from very similar, let's just say, for example, the dash cam has a problem attaching to the window, where after, let's just say 6 months, it falls off. And you see out of the 1,000 reviews the seller has, he has like 50 negative reviews that the suction cup fails after a few months. Advancing capacity is finding that problem, contacting your supplier, and finding a creative way to improve that problem. So rather than having one suction cup, maybe your dash cam has 2 suction cups. Or maybe it's a different adhesive that connects to the rear view mirror, right? You have to be creative. And that's one of my favorite parts is being creative in the advancing capacity portion of the product research and product development. Is finding the problem of a product and then going and sourcing an opportunity to fix that problem. Again, advancing capacity, very important. The next thing we want to do is focus on a product or brand that we can sell with multiple products. And I'm going to go forward to the next slide here, and you're going to be pretty surprised to see all the brands that are out there that own tons of different products or tons of even other brands. It's really interesting to see. Like Clorox owns Burt's Bees, right? And Coca-Cola owns Smart Water. So are you creating a brand that you can develop long-term and sell other products? Maybe we're looking at the dash cam again, and you are going to sell the dash cam itself, but then you're going to sell SD cards, and then you're going to sell replacement suction cups. You're going to sell products that complement that product and that you can upsell to that customer, increasing the chances or percentages that they're going to check out with another product in their cart. Super valuable. Again, here are some examples of products that we see on a regular basis that are owned by the same brand. Now, I want you to take a second to show you really kind of what's possible. We talked about some of the folks I'm mentoring. I call them Patreons. The Patreons that I'm mentoring, they really have done a lot in the past 6 to 8 months. And it takes a lot of work. And I think it's important to, again, have the proof in the pudding. And that is to show you guys some screenshots of folks that I've been working with that have had a high level of success. This screenshot all the way to the left is a 30-day screenshot of $16,400 in sales. And, this person started with one product. They're selling one product at the time of this screenshot. And you can see they had an 85% increase compared to the last 30 days. So they've had a large increase in their selling because we've tweaked some of their different strategies that have really, really impacted their sales. $16,000, right? We're talking about making $10,000 in a month. And this is $10,000 profit in a month. There's a difference between having $16,000 in sales and then $10,000 in profit. In profit, I would say they're probably seeing close to like $6,000 to $7,000, which is amazing. This middle screenshot is a screenshot of an individual of mine who has sold 736 units in the course of 5 or 6 months, which is huge. I'm just a big numbers guy, so I like to go through what it looks like in order to reach your goal. You want to sell 300 units a month. How many units does that look like a week? How many units does that look like a day, right? And 736 units is amazing. This individual actually just ordered 1,000 units of their product. Should be actually arriving to Amazon for the next week or two because they're running low on inventory. They have been absolutely crushing it. Last final client result all the way to the right, $19,000 in 30 days, 108% increase compared to the previous 30 days, 27 open orders. They're doing on average between 30 to 40 orders a day. That's a lot. That is a lot. My first 2 years selling on Amazon did not see numbers like this. It took me a while to really, really learn the ins and outs. And again, that's what I want to focus on today. So I really wanted to show you some of the recent, this is very recent within the past 2-month client results. And then what I want to do is I want to show you a demo using some of these tools and how I'm helping folks to do the exact same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen very quickly with you guys. And what we're going to do is we are going to go onto the Amazon platform itself. And what we're going to do is just type in dog ACL brace, right? We're using this dog ACL brace as a product example. And what I want to do is I'm going to click on the Pro extension to show you guys how the Pro extension operates on the platform. Once you click on the Pro extension, it's going to take a second to load here. Bear with me. It loads very quick. I'm also sharing my screen and hosting the webinar, so it's not as quick as normal, but as you can see, all of our figures have loaded up here at the top. They'll change slightly as the data kind of pulls in. But you can see from here, after we type in dog ACL brace, we have 68 results. The average monthly sales is over 1,000 units. This is a really important figure that I like to see. If you're looking to sell a product that has less than, let's say, 1,000 units, I would say that the demand for that product may not be as high as you think. Then it has average monthly revenue. It has average sales rank. It has the average price. I use this all the time to establish what is the average mean? What is the average seller selling their product for? And then it gives you the average reviews. This is really interesting because this can indicate the level of competition for that product, because the higher the average review count is, the higher the level of competition. You then have a niche score. I absolutely love this. Very quick way for you to understand how AMZ Scout categorizes this niche. Is it a good one to sell in? Is it bad, etc.? If we move down here, you have add to tracker. I love this option because, like, when you're doing your product research and you just want to browse through a bunch of different, products, you can just click this add to tracker and this will add it directly to your tracker so you can visit it at another time. Profit calculator. Let's demo this really quick. I love this feature because it's super easy to use. Let's just say the average price is $50 for this product, and we're going to pay $3 for it on Alibaba. And we're going to pay $2 for our PPC, or cost per click. It will then show you what you're going to pay for your monthly storage, your fulfillment fee, your referral fee, and how many estimated monthly sales are available to you for this specific product, 134. Your estimated monthly product selling 134 units is over $4,000. Now, again, this is just a very quick demo. I don't know the actual cost per product. I know it's probably close to that $3 to $5 mark, but you get the point that you can calculate your profits of a potential product directly on the Pro extension within a matter of 30 seconds. That's how long it took us to do that. Product history, always check the product history. You can change this up here from 2 years to 1 year to 6 months, 2 months, a month. And then up here at the top, these colors indicate, right, this orange is the sales. So you get to see from this duration right here, there's a huge spike in sales. Why is it? Was it during Q4, during December? You get to use this to really analyze, is the price constant? Is the rank constant? Are the sales constant? This is good for finding whether a product may be seasonal or maybe something that has constant sales throughout the year. Get keywords. This is huge for when you're running your campaigns. You can't market, or you can't be successful on Amazon without marketing your product. It's just impossible. And of course, you make the money back as you sell the products, but this is an opportunity where you can just download these keywords directly from the Pro extension, export to CSV, and you have all of them that you can implement into your title, bullet points, and descriptions. You can also even just find the supplier right from here. Just click on Find Supplier. It'll bring you right to the Alibaba platform. You can find this product on Google. Maybe it's selling more expensive. Maybe it's cheaper. That's good to use. And then copying the ASIN if you want to type it into the reverse ASIN lookup on the AMZ Scout platform. So the AMZ Scout Pro extension is extremely valuable. You can do all of this right from every single product. You just click on the product itself, a drop down happens, and then you can click on either one of these options. Again, super, super valuable because it gives you the opportunity to analyze these analytics, right? The back end information on these products. So just a quick demo again on the Pro extension. I'm a big, big fan of it. I'm going to turn the screen share off for a moment here and get back into this presentation to keep pushing along, because I really want to get to what we have to offer you guys, which is honestly really amazing. Again, make sure you guys are dropping some questions down below for things that are popping into your mind that you want to ask at a later time. I'll make sure I get to all the questions at the end. Up next, we're going to do some important digging and explanation of trademark and branding. I think I touched on this before. It's one of those things that I see folks kind of just ignore. They think they can just throw their product up on the Amazon platform and instantly start getting sales. But you really have to build a sense of trust with potential customers, and then you want to have repeat customers that can identify with your brand. So we're going to talk about trademarking and branding, how you're going to see if the name is available, the class in which your product falls, the USPTO step-by-step application process, and the importance of Amazon brand registry to protect your brand. So let's get right into it. And so the first one is the name availability. So you're on the USPTO website and you're going to click on basic word mark search, which you're going to type in the name. So like, let's just use the dog brace, for example. If I typed in dogs daily into this word search to see if there is an opportunity to use that name, I'll be able to see, is it being used? Is it not being used, etc. So you want to check the name availability of the brand that you're willing to trademark. Very important. Then every single product on Amazon also falls into a class. Excuse me. So you want to be able to say what class has the USPTO classified my product in. It'll have a number next to it. You need to be able to do that in order to fill out your application. So this is where you would do that. You just type in a few keywords that describe the product. For us, we would just type in dog ACL brace, and then it's going to have a service class associated to that type of product. The number will be 11234, and it will say, equipment used for injured animals, right? And then boom, now you have your service class. After that, we are ready for your USPTO application. And the application is lengthy and, it's going to take you at least 30 minutes, but it's extremely valuable, extremely important. So if you want to just take a screenshot of this so you can see the step-by-step where you go in, you create your USPTO account, you select File T's application, you then file the T's application, you input your business information or your own personal information, you select your logo, and then you put your service class, which we touched on, and then from there, you're ready to pay and send your application in. What's the point of building the brand outside of the trust of the customer? Because I'm sure there's customers who are willing to just buy products on Amazon that don't have a brand. I mean, I've done before. And what happens is other sellers on the platform will use some tool to understand the analytics, like how many monthly sales is the seller doing? Oh, they don't have a brand to identify this product. They're selling 1,000 dog braces a month. Why don't I sell the exact same product and take their sales or hack their account? And that's why having a brand is super protective or super important, because it puts you into the brand registry department. If you're in brand registry, they protect you against folks trying to steal your listing. So I've actually had 2 listings, I'm going to say sabotaged by other sellers in the niche, and brand registry protected me by going after those sellers. To one of those sellers actually took my listing itself. They shut that listing down. They were taking my sales. And another listing or another seller was leaving negative reviews on my product. Brand registry went and removed those reviews and then penalized that seller. So building a brand is awesome for trust with your customer, but it also puts you in the brand registry department, which is going to protect your brand, protect your listing. And it's also going to give you some really important features on the Amazon platform, like A+ content and brand stories and videos. Those features on the Amazon platform are really only for folks enrolled in the brand registry department. So you need to create a brand for your product. Honestly, it's fun. You get to be creative. You get to use different techniques to attract new customers. Again, build that trust. We're on to the next section here, which is the cheapest and fastest shipping. Now, shipping from overseas suppliers can be really tough. There's a lot of moving variables, and honestly, there's a lot of things outside of your control. So I created this section really to help educate you on the process, because it can be really nerve-wracking to send thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to someone you don't know. to manufacture this product and then to have it be in transit for over a month, right? Because it's coming from a pretty far distance away. So having a system locked in for this is extremely important. We're going to talk about your three main variables. We're going to talk about what you need to ask your supplier. We'll talk about some terminology, DDP by ocean versus by air, super important. And we'll talk about the 3 steps to create an Amazon shipping plan. If you guys are in the process of selling on Amazon right now and you have some problems with your shipping, make sure to drop a comment down below, because I feel like I've really spent a lot of time in this aspect to develop some of these. So maybe I can even help you. All right, let's talk about the 3 main variables. The first is coordinating with your supplier. The next is DDP, or delivery duty paid. And the third is the Amazon shipping plan that you're going to use. So let's use those pillars to understand how we're going to navigate through creating our shipping plan. The first, you need to ask your supplier these things. Now, some of them are really specific, but Amazon, again, is a well-oiled machine that they don't really play a lot of games. If you use the wrong type of printing paper and you say that, they might not be able to scan your label. So these are really important. You need the ship from address, which is where the supplier will be shipping your products. This is for if Amazon receives a product and for some reason, or your shipment, and they can't accept it for some reason, it's not properly packaged, they need to send it back somewhere, and you want that address as the ship from address. Just in case Amazon needs to send it back, you have that information. The second thing you need is the type of shipping paper from the box ID label. Again, this is really important because Amazon has a special tool that scans, like a scanner. And if it's the wrong paper, they won't be able to scan it. And that's going to put you in a position where all of your products are just stuck at the fulfillment center and not being able to go in. You do not want that. You need to know whether your shipping carrier is going to use the freight method of air or ocean, right? And air is obviously just in a plane. Ocean is just by a ship. You're going to need to know the number of units per case and how many cases you'll be sending, as well as the shipment dimensions and weight of the boxes. So again, if you want to take a quick screenshot of this, so you have these, really, really important. Without them, Amazon will not accept your inventory when it arrives to the fulfillment center, and that is a costly mistake. So let's talk about delivery duty paid, or also known as DDP. I'm sure you've heard me say it like 3 or 4 times, and maybe you're like, what is that? DDP basically just means that the supplier is going to assume all responsibility to make sure that your products arrive to the States or wherever you're selling from, wherever your fulfillment center is. And everything is taken care of in regards to the shipping fees, in regards to the import fees and import laws. That's all taken care of by the seller. If you don't use DDP, your inventory can be stopped at customs, and customs says, hey, you owe tax on this product being shipped from China to the US. And before we let it into your custody, you need to pay us X. You need to tell us the value of it, then you need to pay us, we need to collect the money, and then we can release it. So DDP really just is to streamline that entire process so you don't have to worry about dealing with customs or your inventory stuck for whatever reason because part of the shipping wasn't paid, etc. So DDP, in my opinion, extremely valuable, and make sure you ask your supplier. And now you're at the process of creating your shipping plan with Amazon. And the only way you can do this is by having your listing created. You'll click on the edit version here, create shipment plan, and then you're going to confirm all the different shipping details, the box size, how many units are in each box, how many boxes are coming in total. And then Amazon, for the third step, is going to print out a label that your supplier is going to put on the box that's going to be shipped to Amazon. This is so when it arrives to Amazon, they can use their scanner to scan it and say, oh, this inventory is from Andre. He has 400 units of the dog ACL kit, right? So they're going to have all that information as soon as they scan it. You can't send your inventory to Amazon unless you create a shipping plan. So really important that you have those things locked in and ready to go before you have your supplier ship all those things, all those units to the Amazon fulfillment center. Now, up next, we're going to actually talk about setting up your Seller Central account and how to do so, because there actually are a few variables you want to take into consideration before you start. You want to have all your information organized, and then there's a couple of different opportunities for your different seller account types. So we talked about the different seller account types. There's actually two types. There's an individual and a professional. And my opinion, I always encourage folks just to start at the professional account. It's $39.99, so it's $40 a month, and just lets you have unlimited sales with no extra fee per those sales, right? The individual account charges you 99 cents for each sale. So if you sell 500 units on the professional account, you pay $39.99. If you sell 500 units on the individual account, you pay $500 for your seller fees, right? So this is just to hold your account. Amazon is charging you this fee. You can't get past it. Amazon won't refund you for it. I've even had my account down for a while I had a seller try and hack my account, and Amazon said, you still have to pay it. That's because we're helping you get your account back, etc. These fees are unavoidable. Again, I always encourage folks to just go in the direction of the professional. It's going to save you some time and money down the road. All right, let's get into the next aspect here, which is creating that Seller Central account. Very, very basic information to start, but it does get a little more complicated. You just need your name, your email, your password, and then from there, you're going to need these things. I always tell folks, like, have a checklist of these things ready to go before you start to sign up, because you don't want to hold up the process. You're going to need a valid government issued ID or passport, a recent bank account or credit card statement, and a chargeable credit card or debit card, and then a mobile phone. Okay, so you need those 4 things absolutely before you can start setting up your account. Once you go to set up your account, you're just going to put in your business name. This is not going to actually show up to folks when you're like on the Amazon platform shopping and you go and click on the brand name. This is not going to pop up there. This is just for you. Your company registration number or your EIN. This is your tax identification number to the business. If you don't have one of those, that's totally fine. I have patrons right now that do not have it. And what we've done is you use your Social Security. The IRS is going to send you a message saying, hey, you sold $5,000 worth of inventory on Amazon. You owe us $800 in state and federal tax. That's obviously dependent on which state you're in, but that is just going to be categorized to your specific Social Security. You're going to have to put your business ID in, and then you're going to have to put your phone number in, which they're going to verify. Okay, so you need a phone number, unavoidable. You need to input your phone number. You're also going to need to input your payment information here. So this is your monthly subscription fee. Amazon has to charge you that $39.99 for the professional account type. This is exactly how they do it. Okay, so just know that every single month you'll get hit with that fee, and this is where it's going to come out from. Next, you just have to identify your store name and answer a few quick questions, and then you will have a Seller Central account set up and ready to go. Now we're on to one of the most important parts of this presentation, and that is to list your product. This is probably one of the most frequently asked things outside of the product research is, how do I list my product? I keep on running into these specific problems. So I'm going to give you the foundation. So when you go to list your product, it's seamless, it's easy, you're not caught up. And we're going to go over the 2 things you need before you get started, and then the step-by-step process. So the 2 things you need before you go to list your product is 1, your Amazon Seller Central account, which we just taught you how to create. And the next is a barcode that identifies your product from gs1.org. In the past, you were able to have different companies outside of GS1 give you barcodes that were slightly cheaper. Amazon has cracked down and they cross-reference the barcode with GS1 now directly. So you can only get a barcode from GS1 and you need your barcode before you go to list your product. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you need these two things before you go to list your product. Once you go to list your product, or once you're inside your Seller Central account, it will look somewhat similar to this. Amazon does roll out different interfaces to sellers to test to see how sellers interact with them, if they like them, if they get feedback on them. You're just going to click on the add products at the bottom left here. And from here, you're going to click on adding a product not sold on Amazon. You may say, well, Andre, I did some in-depth product research and I found a product being sold on Amazon and I ordered a very similar product. I just put my brand on it. And your brand identifies that product. So if the brand name is Dog Daily for the dog ACL brace, no other company has Dog Daily as the brand, then you're adding a product not sold on Amazon. And then from here, this is one of the most important parts where you put in the product ID or the barcode number that you obtained from GS1, right? So you type in that barcode. Every barcode has a number underneath it. Type that number into the product ID. And then from there, you're just going to click on the drop down and select UPC. You can see there is GTIN, EAN, UPC, ASIN, all these different forms of barcodes. You want UPC. That's the most common one. That's what Amazon wants. From here, you're going to just put your brand name. Now, this is really important that it is as you put into the USPTO trademark application. So we put Dogs Daily as the trademark name. That's what you have to put here under brand name. This is what your customer is going to see when they're shopping and browsing on your listing. From here, you need to go to this next page where they're going to ask you the unit count and measure. So the unit count is how many pieces are in your package, not how much inventory you have, but how many pieces are in your package. A lot of people get confused by this, so I always like to add this in here. For the dog brace, there's just one piece, right? It's just a little Velcro that Velcros together. So one, and then the count is just counts as one, right? It's not like a liquid or something like that. Next, once you get to the offer section here, this is where you're going to implement your price. You're going to talk about the condition, and then we're going to get to the really important part right here where it says fulfillment channel. You're going to have the opportunity to choose between FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, or FBM, fulfillment by merchant. Now, I'm going to get into both of those in a little bit and say which one I prefer and which one I encourage you to use. But I just want to say this is where you do that, because I see folks get slightly confused as to where they do it. And they also ask the question, hey, Andre, what if I want to do both? You can have your product as fulfillment by Amazon and fulfillment by merchant, just in case the Amazon inventory runs out. And you can also change this at any point. So like if you start off as FBM and you want to go to FBA, you can, vice versa. Or you can just say, I'm doing FBA, but I want to add FBM. Yes, you can do that as well. Super important there. And that is going to bring us to why Prime is so important for us as Amazon sellers. And that is that it gives us the opportunity to get that product to our customer quick and easy. Next in this upload process is where you're going to input your images. Now, if you see at the top left, it says see image guidelines, click on that drop down and it's going to bring down all these important variables you need to take in consideration when you're uploading your images to the Seller Central account. You need to have your main image have a complete white background. You can't have blood in your images. There's all these different things. The pixel count, it has to be in a certain orientation. So make sure you read those. Your listing will be shadow banned or not even public if you do not follow these correctly. So you want to make sure that you really read through those, make sure that you're uploading the right pictures. Again, we're just using Dogs Daily as an example here. You can see we created this brand. We threw all the images in there. The first one has all white background. And we have other images showcasing, the key features, competition towards the other ACL braces, why ours is the best. Next, I want to quickly touch on the product description, because everyone thinks their product description when they come to this point and listing their product is the bullet points. This is not your product description. Your product description is actually below that. What you saw is what's called the bullet points, right? Or also known as key product features. This is where you add that. So you have your product description, you're right there using highly searched keywords within your niche. And then within your key product features, giving some really key important components or aspects of your product. Is it waterproof? Does it have adjustability? What size is it? All those questions that a customer may ask, you want to put in your key product features. And then you're going to go on to if you have any warnings or if it's harmful, which in most cases I recommend not selling any product that is, right? Okay, we're moving right along. We're coming to the top 5 Amazon FBA mistakes that I see folks most regularly making. These are mistakes that I've made myself. And then again, as I'm mentoring folks, I see the same problems reoccurring a lot. So I wanted to kind of organize those. So when you reach one of these problems, you know how to navigate around it and you know some good practices. And let's go through them one by one of analysis paralysis, not branding, FBA over FBM, product research, and reviews. So getting to the first one, analysis paralysis. If you guys aren't familiar, this is just when someone is in a position where they've been doing tons of product research, excuse me, they're overwhelmed with all the data and analytics they've been seeing, and they don't know what product to choose. And then they say, I can't choose a product, and I'm afraid of spending the money. And no product is a good product. And all these different kind of narratives come into play. And it's really important that if you start feeling like this, take a little break, take a day break from your analysis, take a day break from your product research, let it settle, come back to it with a fresh mindset, and know that, again, there's tons of opportunity with all the different shoppers on the platform, with all the sellers making up a large percentage of the total sales, that people are very successful on Amazon. You just saw screenshots from Patreons of mine who are doing well. And that comes from making the decision. So don't be afraid to make the decision. Don't have that analysis paralysis. If you feel it, take a little break and then come back to it and make an educated decision. So you saw I said not branding as one of the problems I see folks making. And this is really tough because you have to do a few things to brand, right? If you want to have A+ content on Amazon, well, then you need to be in the brand registry. And to be in the brand registry, you need to have a trademark. And to have a trademark, you need to file the trademark application. So there's steps to get that branding on Amazon, but again, it's so valuable because it builds trust with your customer. It protects you on the Amazon platform, and then it gives you the ability to use key features like A+ content and brand stories, so you can have precious web browser real estate, just like these really captive, eye-catching photos, right? And that's what really has shown to convert shopping customers, is the ability to see these big, vibrant pictures with lots of colors to say, add to cart, and then purchase. So make sure your branding on your product, super, super important. Another thing, problem I see folks having is they think that they can do this all on their own. And we talked about FBA and FBM. Again, FBM is fulfillment by merchant. So someone like you and I is having the boxes at our house. We have to put the product in there, put our own tape on there, drive to the FedEx, UPS, whomever we want to use, and then ship it to the customer and pay for the shipping. Or FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, is where Amazon is going to pick, pack, and ship your product. They're going to store your product. They're going to keep track of your inventory. Everything is going to be organized by the well-oiled machine that is Amazon. So Don't think you can do it all on your own, especially if you want to scale this business model. Don't think you're going to save money by doing it on your own. Amazon is, Amazon trucks are everywhere. There's no way that you could beat their shipping costs, and there's no way that you're as optimized as they are with keeping everything as organized, especially when you're doing large number of volume, right? If you're doing 730 units like my Patreon, there's no way I would want to pick, pack, and ship 700 units. That would be a lot. The next thing I see folks doing is they don't use a tool to help do their product research. They go on Amazon, they find a product they might like and go, I want to sell this product. And then I say, well, what's the average monthly sales volume? How many units are sold on a monthly basis? What is the average price? Do you know a saturation score? Do you know a niche score? Do you have any of the analytics to say that it's a good product rather than you wanting to sell it? So don't try and just skimp out on it and save money. And then, you find yourself in a position where you invested in a product, you ship it to Amazon, and then it's not selling because there's a very low average monthly sales or there's a very high level of competition. Okay, on to the next one here. The last and final main five problems that I see is folks not focusing on getting reviews. Excuse me. And getting reviews is honestly, it's so important, especially when you're just starting off. It builds a level of trust with your customer. And you've heard me say that a few times now in this webinar because it really is so important. And we really have some specific strategies in the mentorship to help you get reviews on products. And one of them, I can just give you a quick example, as we have a product card insert. So this is just an insert that goes into your product packaging that you have your supplier throw in there for you. And it says, thank you so much for your purchase. You're supporting a local business, etc. And then you say, our business thrives on improving. We love an honest review. You're not asking for a 5-star review because Amazon does not allow you to do that. But they do allow you to ask for honest reviews. So that product insert thanks the customer, right? Gives them a sense of appreciation. And then in the same breath, prompts them to leave a review on your product. Yeah. Okay. Now we're getting to some interesting things here in the presentation, and that's what I have to offer. That's what AMZ has to offer, and how we've teamed up to create something very unique. I pride myself in success of selling and the brand of what it stands by. And again, that's transparency, just being extremely honest and straightforward to develop something that will give you success when you're selling, right? So if you're interested in helping grow your own Amazon business that you can see the profit from those screenshots, then you should stick around and you should ask some questions, because I can be more than willing to give you some very detailed, specific answers to what the mentorship looks like, as well as some of the tools that AMZ Scout is offering and what they look like together. So this is how success is selling, or my portion, is on the gig. And it starts with the one-on-one private mentorship through unlimited 30-minute individual calls. This is over the time of 3 months of personalized guidance and support through unlimited calls. And it's a call just like you see right here. We can do a face-to-face call where it's a video, or it's just a call where we hear each other's voices. This has been extremely valuable. All of the people in the mentorship right now, they take advantage of this, and they have their weekly calls where we sit down. It's a 30-minute phone call. You can actually share your screen on the platform we use, and I can see your screen. I can go into your Seller Central account and say, hey, click on this button, click on this button. Okay, look at this metric. This is important. This is showing you about your advertising campaign. Make sure you pay attention to this figure. We can also just have this conversation like we're having right now, where you're saying, hey, Andre, I'm looking at this product. What do you think about it? You share your screen on Amazon, or I share my screen on Amazon and go on and do some product research right in front of you to show and say, hey, I'm looking at the estimated monthly sales figure and it looks pretty low. So I would keep an eye on that. The calls are really, really intended to help guide you into a proper direction with direct communication. Super valuable. There's not many folks in the space that are doing it and not doing it very affordable. So I'm very proud of the private calls because they've grown in such a way that's helped a lot of people. And again, just from those screenshots you saw, folks have really, really valued them. Next, what I have to offer is a 3-month access to a private chat. This is a written chat. So let's just say you're like, hey, I don't like being on the phone. I don't have the time. It's more convenient for me to use the written chat. And you like the ability to go back and kind of evaluate and go over what we talked about. Because I know I'm a fast talker and I use a lot of words within the e-commerce space, and maybe you're new to e-commerce and you're not familiar with what DDP shipping means. And in the written chat, I'll say DDP shipping or delivery duty paid, and I'll give you an explanation of what it means. So then you can go back and refer to this chat. And this chat, it just takes place Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You have access to me through the chat. This here is valued at $1,000. Beautiful. Up next, we have the supplier outreach template. Now, this is a template that I've created for you to send directly to as many suppliers as you want to then provoke a question of saying, how many units are available with my logo on the custom packaging? What is the lead time once I pay you guys? I've composed all the important questions in one place for you to copy, paste it, send it directly to all the different suppliers so that you can go right to the nitty-gritty. It took me a while to create this template because there's so much information that goes into reaching out to your supplier. So you really want to have all that information well organized and the right information, right? This here is valued at 100. Next is your supplier negotiation template. I always tell folks, if you see a price listed on Alibaba, you should always pay less than that. And everyone's always confused at first, but it's a negotiation tactic. And I've never paid the listed price on Alibaba for any product I've ever bought. I've always negotiated with them. And then I thought to myself, why don't I create a template that showcases some of the tools and some of the negotiation tactics that I use so that you can implement them into your own negotiation. So this negotiation template gives you some of those key factors like negotiating price and delivery times, etc. This is valued again at $100. Now we're going to go into AMZ Scouts portion of this, and this has a lot of valuable things that I really could take a long time to touch on each one of these. So I want to touch on all of them quickly. But again, the tools from AMZ Scout are absolutely necessary, and you can't get through this part of the process without some tools. So you'll have the Pro extension, which we talked about today, and I showed you guys a demo of. Extremely valuable. I always have it out on my Amazon web browser. You'll have the product database. You'll have the reverse ASIN lookup, the Amazon keyword search, the product tracker, the keyword tracker, the quick view, and stock stats. So all these things at a total value of $380 are going to be included in the gig. Super, super valuable here. Up next, AMZ Scout, again, is going to show you all these different things on the Pro extension. So you get an inside look at the trends, the sales volume, and the quality of competition to see which niches to dive into and which, honestly, to avoid. The Pro extension also shows all of your FBA costs, so you can see what your potential net profits are. Just makes everything extremely well organized. If you guys were here with me at the beginning of the webinar, I talked about organization and why it's so important. That's why I love AMZ Scout so much, is just because everything is so well organized, so user-friendly, so easy to use. You use the platform for 5 minutes and you just know exactly how to navigate the entire thing. It's extremely, extremely easy. On top of the ease, You have very precise and detailed information from the Pro extension, which allows you to quickly check the niche score to see if you're choosing the niche that has potential with an actual quantified score, right? There's a number rather than me just saying, oh, the niche looks good. Well, it's an 8 out of 10. And why is it an 8 out of 10? Well, it has good prices. It has low levels of competition. It has higher levels of demand. This niche score will vary from product to product. So it may be a 2 on a product that doesn't have a good profit margin, and it may be an 8 on a product that has a great profit margin with those other associated benefits. And the Pro extension has all these tools built directly into it. You guys saw us use the product profit calculator, the automatic FBA fee calculation, the main product keywords, the listing quality analysis, monthly sales estimator. All these things are built right into the Pro extension. So you don't even necessarily have to navigate far out from the Amazon platform itself. You do a lot of this research right on Amazon, which I find very valuable. Now, the AMZ Scout product database is really the beating heart of the AMZ Scout tools. This is where you're going to have the ability to go in and use all of the different tools to find great potential products and opportunities, a 600 million database, and then evaluate your competition using the Pro extension kind of together. And the AMZ Scout keyword search and reverse ASIN lookup is honestly one of my favorite tools. This is where you're just going to throw in a keyword associated to your niche or the ASIN of one of your competitors. And AMZ Scout is going to give you all the relevant information about keyword trending, the PPC bid rates, the conversion rates, all these things that are super valuable as a potential seller of that product. You want to take a look at before you sell the product. And the only way to do that is by having these tools that analyze the back end of Amazon. You can't do it yourself. I mean, it's just impossible. Amazon doesn't give you the information. You need a source like AMZ Scout to give it to you. Now, AMZ Scout has included a few things in this bundle that I find really interesting. And one of them is the 1,000+ exclusive Amazon product ideas. This is going to help to receive ideas from 19 of the top 1% most profitable products delivered to you weekly. So it's new products weekly. Each one is selected by AI out of 600 million products. This is super valuable. Even if you don't pick the product itself, it gives you the inspiration or a niche that you maybe didn't know about. This is valued at $2,000. And then next is the monthly trend reports that contain monthly product trends, profitable niches, Amazon news, insights, and tips on maximizing your profits. It's always super important to be up on the trends of what's going on in specific niches and even Amazon itself. So again, this is valued at $500. Then you have the Amazon Scout bonuses, the seller hook report with ideas for 5 booming categories. Get a detailed report that contains inspiring trends that can help you find unique, ready to launch, profitable product ideas with growing sales, massive revenue potential, and high ROI. This is valued at $300. And then the Amazon Infographic Secrets ebook. Find out how to attract shoppers and turn them into buyers by creating an irresistible product listing. We talked about that, super valuable web browser real estate and how to optimize it. AMZ Scout has done that, and it's valued at $100. Coming to the end here, how to get reviews, a guide. We talked about how important reviews are. From my perspective, AMZ Scout feels the same way. So they also have added the get reviews from day one when you most need them and accelerate your sales while staying in compliance with Amazon's policies. You can see why AMZ Scout and myself, we do really well together, is because we have very similar ideas and we have very similar practices, right? We want to stay in compliance with Amazon, but we still want to have a strategy towards obtaining those reviews. This is valued at $100. And then a list of low risk, ungated Amazon categories for beginners, a 22-page list of evergreen categories and subcategories to consider selling from you're just starting out on your Amazon journey. That's valued at $200. Then there's navigating Amazon seller account challenges. This is whether you have suspension, deactivation, reactivation. This is extremely important. I myself have been hacked on Amazon. I know what it's like. This guide has a lot of helpful tools. Sometimes seller support is not very helpful. It takes the right seller support agent. So this guide right here will get you going in the right direction, and it's extremely valuable and listed for $100. Also, how to appear on the first page of Amazon. So important. This value is amazing because on Amazon, very few folks go to the second and third page. They really just stay on page one. So I always tell all of my folks that I'm mentoring, if you can get on page one, you are going to do great on Amazon. It does take a little time to get there. It does take some money, advertising, but this here is, the Amazon algorithms and how to have easy to follow steps to achieving higher positions among the search results. AMC Scout has valued this at $99. If you look at all of these things together, right? The one-on-one private mentorship calls, the private chat, the AMZ's bundles, all the different seller hook reports, all these things together comes out to almost $7,000. But AMZ Scout and myself have talked and come to a happy place of $629. And $629 is just, it's such a value. We have to come together to really establish, what is a fair price for everyone, because we want to have folks have the opportunity to be involved in the direct mentorship and use the AMC Scout tools at the same time. So it takes a lot of, work from both of our ends to find this happy medium. And honestly, it's just an amazing deal, especially with the opportunities we have and the money back guarantee that we offer, the refund that we offer. Whenever you sell a product and you offer a refund, it's because you believe in that product. And again, success of selling has been built on transparency with all of my clients, all the folks that I'm mentoring. And, that's why we wanted to offer a refund. Is like, if you don't like the tools or if you don't like the interactions in the private mentorship, you have the ability for a refund. I don't know anyone else in this space that is doing that. And it's because we really believe in the product and the tools that we have, that we've worked hard to create. So you'll see two different QR codes here. The first one is for a one-time payment. If you just scan the first one, you'll have a one-time payment option. And then if you want, you can do the second one, which will split it up into 4 payments, interest-free. I'm going to pause for a moment, take a sip of my water. 4 payments, interest-free for the US only. That's amazing. The opportunity to buy something interest-free is just so valuable. I've done it for many different endeavors, my own businesses, like taking advantage of an interest-free opportunity and not spending all the money at once is super, super valuable. So I'm so happy we were able to offer that. And again, only for those folks in the US. You can split that payment up into 4. The first QR code is just for a one-time payment. You want to pay the $629 and get it out of the way. Or if you'd like to split it up into 4 easy payments, you have that opportunity here. Use your phone, scan these QR codes. Where are the action takers? Where are the folks who are looking to be the next person to send me a screenshot of $19,000 in revenue in 1 month? I know there's someone in this chat that is going to be that person. I know that a few of you could if you really want to. So let's see who's willing to do it. Again, the one-on-one private mentorship by me and the AMC Scout toolset bundle. You'll have access to me by the next business day after payment confirmation, and you'll gain instant access to the AMC Scout tools and a refund guarantee of 10 days. I can't stress that enough, that we're offering a refund because we believe in the product that we are endorsing, the service we're endorsing, and 10 days is a long time. You can talk to me for 10 days to really establish, like, wow, the response times are what they should be. It's very detailed. The AMZ Scout tools are awesome to use. I love them. 10 days is a lot of time to really get a good feel for it. We're going to leave this up on the screen for a moment. And what I want to do is take some time right now to answer some questions that you guys have left for me. And it looks like we have quite a few questions here. So I'm going to start from the top. If I didn't get to your question right away, that's fine. Just know I'll get to it. And make sure you guys type some questions into here. This is an opportunity to really utilize someone like myself who has multiple products on the platform, who has helped dozens of people get their product launched, and also someone who has folks who have seen a very high level of success on the platform. So let's start off with our first question here. And what is the cheapest way to start selling on Amazon? That is a great question. The cheapest way, the most inexpensive way, is to do exactly what this is right here. Buy a tool that's going to help you look at all the analytics of Amazon. Have someone who's already been through it 100+ times give you all the steps, and then launch your product on Amazon. That is the cheapest way. You're like, well, maybe don't want to pay for this. Well, then you're going to have to pay and learn a lesson by maybe doing something wrong, and then you're going to spend a lot more time. So the cheapest way to do it is by this method right here. I stand by that. I truly believe that. What's the ideal quantity to order from Alibaba for your first product? This is a great question that I really say is dependent on the product cost and your budget. Let's say your product cost from your supplier in Alibaba is $10 and you want to order 200 units, and you have to pay shipping on that. That is something that I would take into consideration, is how expensive is the product and how much capital do I have will then tell me how much I'll order for my first run. It's going to look different for everyone because everyone's budget's different and everyone's product costs a slightly different amount. So how much quantity should you buy? What does your budget look like? And what's your exposure to risk here, right? Good question. Okay, here we go. Can we start without trademarking the products? What if we do not have sales? It's an expensive process, I think. The USPTO trademark process is $250. And if you look at that fee comparatively to what you're going to spend on the entire inventory that you're going to buy, it's a very small percentage, right? So you're going to spend $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 on your inventory, and you want to save $250 on your USPTO application fee for your product to potentially be hacked by someone. Pay the $250, get your brand protected. It is 100% worth it. You can start, your first question was really, can you start without doing so? Yes, you absolutely can, but I actually do not recommend it. I recommend that you go through that process and move from there. All right, next question here. How do you advertise your products? This is a great question, a very valuable question here, is because if you don't advertise your products, you're not going to sell anything on Amazon. Amazon makes a ton of money from sellers like you and I competing with each other and paying advertising fees. So the way you advertise on Amazon, or the way I advertise on Amazon, is by creating PPC campaigns. Let's just use the dog ACL brace. That's a keyword phrase. When you type that keyword phrase into the search tab on Amazon, there are sellers who are selling that product who are bidding on that keyword to show up when you type it in. They're bidding $1.50. They're bidding $2. They're bidding different amounts in order to pop up in the search results when you type that in. So that is how I advertise on the platform, is by bidding on those keywords. So when shopping customers type them in, my product shows up. Why do I choose AMZ Scout? Such an easy question for me. And I've used all the different platforms. AMZ Scout, in my opinion, is the absolute best. It's the easiest to navigate. It's very straightforward. They have different tools on the platform that others do not, like the sales per keyword. That's a very specific AMZ Scout tool. If you go and see others, they don't have that. It might show you sales volume, but it doesn't show you how many people are actually buying that product off the keyword. And then the people really stand by what they offer. And I've become really close with AMZ Scout and the folks, and like they're just great people that have a strong passion for e-commerce, just like myself. And I would say, lastly, we really fall in place on the same strategy. Like we talked about how my approach to getting reviews is basically the exact same as AMZ Scouts, right? And my value of product research and the different analytics is the same AMZ Scout. So to me, AMZ Scout is the top dog in the industry for a reason. And, I really do stand by that. How much money should we have to start the first month or the first year? This is a good question, and it really looks different for everyone. But I would say a good baseline is around $3,000, depending on the product cost that you have, etc. But around $3,000 is a great place to start, just to have the opportunity to order enough inventory, and then have a little bit of money to put towards advertising, have a little bit of money to put towards brand creation, etc. Okay. How much time does it take to start selling from zero? Well, that's a good question. I think that, again, it may look different for folks, but I would say, you're starting from zero and launching your product in the Amazon fulfillment center would take anywhere between 30 to 90 days. That's the average. I would say the average I have is really 60 days for the students I help. And this does also take into a fact that it takes like 30 days to have your shipment come from China all the way to the US. That takes time. But a few hours every single day for at least 60 days is what you're looking at. And people might think at first, well, that's not passive. But once you reach that point of that work that you've put in, then you gain momentum and you can be making, $19,000 in sales in 30 days. And you did an hour of work every single day, right? Like that's what that person is doing right now. They're not doing more than maybe an hour, or maybe even less. Some days they're not doing any work, right? They're just checking their inventory levels, talking with their different suppliers, making sure everything is okay, but they're not doing product research anymore, right? Or they're not talking with new suppliers, trying to lock in a supplier, or talking to someone to create a brand logo for them. Good question. How many students do you have? If there are many, how do you manage to spend time with all of them? That's a good question. So I actually have a cap at 10 students. I won't take any more than 10 students on at a time. That's because I want to make sure that I'm giving the students a adequate time and making sure that they feel like they're getting proper value out of what they're doing. And I've had a wait list on the mentorship at certain times where I reach 10, I close it, and then someone feels they're comfortable to do it on their own, so they leave, then I open it up, and then someone else will join. Currently right now we have 5. We just had someone leave who had reached Amazon's Choice. So Amazon gave them the award of Amazon's Choice after selling so many units in a month, and they feel like really comfortable. And like, that's my goal, is really after like 3 to 6 months is to have you off on your own. Again, I do have someone that's been with me for 8 months, and he said that he doesn't want to leave just because he wants to keep utilizing our weekly calls and keep, increasing his knowledge. And we have like a lot of conversations about optimizing his business flow. And, he said, I'll stay with you for another 8 months to a year, as long as you offer the mentorship, because I feel like it's so valuable. Good question. How hard is it to have profit the first month? Hard. That's a good question. Again, I'm just going to be completely transparent with you. Let's just use one of my students who had the $19,000 in revenue in one month. He's been with me for 8 months. His first month he was break even. His second month he had just broken like a little profit. His third month he finally started to see like a 10% profit, and then it grew from there. So if you were to say, I want to make $10,000 profit my first month selling on Amazon, I would tell you that that is not very realistic, and that it takes time, it takes consistency, just like anything in life. There's no way to do that. You can't put on 50 pounds of muscle in 1 month, right? It takes folks a decade to do that. You have to really put in your time. Do you use organic ads on social media or own websites? That's a great question. I actually do not. I do have social media for my brands and products, but I personally, and I guess I have run ads on social media like Instagram and TikTok and things, but I haven't seen the success rate like I have from putting that advertising budget on the Amazon platform itself. Like for me, a good way to think about it is like people are on the Amazon platform to shop, to buy. People are on Instagram or Facebook because they want to scroll. And yeah, maybe you might convert a few leads that way, but I'm going to convert a lot more leads for folks that are actively looking to buy something rather than some people who are just looking for entertainment. Good question. Are you doing also affiliate marketing? I am not doing affiliate marketing through Amazon. No. Isn't it more profitable to sell small, low weight items? Absolutely. Yeah, I have some criteria that I send all the folks in the mentorship that breaks down how much your product should weigh, how big your product is, where it is on the price spectrum. Again, we looked at the 2 dash cams, and you had one dash cam at $250 and one dash cam at $150. There's $100 difference in them, and it was not because of the size or the weight. It was because of the product internals itself. So it's like, why don't both those sellers are paying the same fulfillment fees? I'd rather be on the higher price spectrum, and I'd rather optimize my fulfillment fees and my seller fees on the Amazon platform by selling a smaller product that weighs less. Absolutely. Next question here. What products did you try to sell in the past, but because of small details, you found out they were not profitable? That is a great question. A great product, or a great example of a product, was the dog brace. The dog brace was a product that I thought had a lot of opportunity, but the small details of the Velcro not sticking well, and then the price point, like I saw a lot of sellers selling it for a lot cheaper than what I was all in for. So the dog brace did not work for me. But it's a great product example. I use it all the time because, I mean, it was real. I created imagery for it and a listing for it. Just to let you guys know, the name was not Dogs Daily. It was a different brand. I try to protect my brands just because, again, I've been hacked. I've had other sellers try to put my listing down. So I don't tell folks my specific brands, but again, I like to show some screenshots from your Seller Essential account, which you can't really make those up. Okay. How many years do you sell items on Amazon? Amazon itself has been 4, but I've been in e-commerce for 6 now. I started off on Facebook dropshipping, which was popular about 6 years ago, which is completely dead now. And I went to Amazon because I saw it dying out and knew that Amazon was a great opportunity. Next question here is, do you ask suppliers to add a different UPC code on the items that you will sell? As I understand, if a UPC code exists already, you cannot sell a product, or you need somehow an approval. Yeah, so the strategy which we talked about today is called private label. You're referring to retail arbitrage. So I only sell products through the private label method. which means I buy my own barcode and put it on a product that does not have one. If you want to sell a product that already exists, like a brand, let's just use the brand of Dogs Daily. Like if that was a brand that existed, it already has a barcode, right? So you don't put your own barcode on top of that because it has a brand. So I do not sell any of those type of products. I do not sell any retail arbitrage. Everything is a brand that I create from scratch that does not exist. Good question. Why to choose your bundle instead of other mentors and the AMZ Scout? Yeah, good question. I think that from what I know, am the only bundle that offers one-on-one private calls. You push a button and then you see my face and we have a conversation. I just find that so valuable. Like for me, just as a hands-on learner myself, I really, really value that, as well as, again, the written chat. And then I would say probably the third and most important thing is the success of my students. As you guys saw, people are making a lot of sales. You don't make $19,000 in revenue from a little amount of sales. That product costs $49.99. So basically almost $20,000 in sales on a $50 product is like 30 to 40 units a day, every single day. Yeah, good question. Do you walk people through the entire process from A to Z? Like you could join the mentorship and literally have zero experience, know nothing about e-commerce. Let's say that's step A. I will bring you to step Z, where you are launching your product on Amazon with optimized PPC campaigns, with highly searched keywords, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like you'll go through every single portion of it. And it is a lot of work. It does take a lot of time. It's not something that's super easy and you can do very quick. Do you have winning stories from your students to share with us? Yes. If you go into, I would say it was maybe about 12 to 15 minutes in, I showed 3 screenshots. One of them was a $16,000 a month from one of my students. Another screenshot was 730 or 750 units sold in like 4 or 5 months from one of my students. And another student had a $19,000 a month. It's all screenshots, so you can't fake that. It's all there. You should definitely go take a look. Can you buy different pieces of the tool sets? No, the tool set is a bundle for a reason. That means it's all together. You cannot get one piece of it. And let me tell you, for the price that it's valued at, just get the bundle, because it's going to push everything together that you need. If you try and get one thing and then you're like, oh, I only want to spend $300, but then you're going to miss out on this. And everything is just discounted because it's together. If you buy things individually, you then have to pay the retail price of that, which obviously is super expensive. Should you start small with 10 to 100 units the first time when you order an item from Alibaba? This is a great question, excuse me, which I always encourage folks to do, which is to start small. I always like to have like a $2,000 budget when I start, really just to get your feet wet, understand the workings of Amazon, ensure the product quality. 10 is definitely too small. Again, it depends on how much your product costs, but I always say like 100 to 200 normally is a good place for folks to start. Good question. Can you sell handmade products? Is it profitable? I'm assuming that you're talking about handmade products that you make, and again, if you want to sell 750 units in a few months, like we showed from the screen share, you're just going to be making things all day long and you won't have a life outside of that. And the whole purpose of this is to have financial freedom, is to have a life, is to buy your dream car, is to go on vacation for 3 weeks in Europe. If you want to do all those things, then you want to have your time. So selling handmade products that you sell is something that I would not encourage. How many members have your team? How many members, I'm assuming, are in your team? Myself and my wife. If you're talking to someone, it's always me. My wife does some of the back end work for this business, Success is Selling, and some of my other businesses. But if you're like talking to someone, you're talking to me. If you're having a phone call with someone, it's me. You see my face. Absolutely. Tell us about okay, he says, how many instructors are in your team? I just answered that one. Just me. I'm the only instructor. You're not talking to someone else that doesn't know the same things that I know. You're literally just talking to me. And this is a great question. I'm excited about this question. Tell us about your ideal student. Trying to keep an eye on the time here, not to make this too long, but I want to give you guys an ideal student. This is someone that shows up every single day, willing to put the work in and take on my feedback. So an example is someone joins the mentorship and they're like, what product do I sell? It's like, well, you have to go and find products, send me screenshots of the product and the data to support why you think it's a good product. And then I'll tell you why it is a good product or why it's not a good niche or why it's too competitive, etc. So I'm looking for students that are willing to go in and do the work and then follow the direction, right? And that is the reality of it, is that it's not, the mentorship is not me telling you what a product is to sell. And it's not me doing your USPTO applications. I don't do any of those things for you. You may say, hey, Andre, I have a problem where the USPTO is not accepting this document. And I'll say, send me the document. I'll look at it and I'll say, oh yeah, this is because this document is missing this information. And I'll help you to the best of my ability. So really an ideal student is someone that's willing to put on the work and then take the direction for me, for us to collaborate. The student that's been with me for 8 months, that's having $20,000 months, just ask questions all the time that are very detailed. We jump on calls once a week. We have our organized schedule that works. It took us a little bit to get there. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a little bit for me to learn for me to understand your learning style and for you to understand my teaching style. And then we come together and then we make it work. Okay. Let's see here. We have, will you be sharing a video of these webinar after? Yes, but only for a limited time. So I was telling you guys to take some screenshots and take some notes because, again, I talk fast. There's a lot of valuable information here. I want you guys to get it all. Where do you get your pictures from? This is a good question. I own a media company, so I take all my own pictures because I own a media company that specializes in photography and videography. So in most cases, I do all that, but I do know folks that use other services out there like Fiverr and whatnot to do their imagery. What if you have questions after 3 months? Then you can talk to me about getting enrolled in the mentorship, which is a private link that you only can get once asking me for it. So if you're like, hey, my 3 months is up, but I want to continue on, I'll send you a link where you can sign up. And then from there, you can continue on. How do you create your packaging? Do you use tools like Canva or graphics or graphic designers? That's a really good question. So the part of my media production company is my wife is a senior art director. So she's a high-end graphic designer that creates all the imagery for my custom packaging. But you can outsource that. You can hire a graphic designer on Fiverr for $50 to $500 to create what you're looking for. Good question. If I want to exit from this business, how do you do that? And what's the cost for that? That's a good question. You can liquidate on Amazon. So like literally there's like a liquidate option where Amazon will buy out your inventory extremely cheap or find a buyer for you for extremely cheap, which you will lose money and they'll just buy all your inventory. You can do that, or you can send it back to yourself and try and sell it like on Facebook Marketplace or something. But you can just basically liquidate your business or your product, and then that would be your exit from it. Okay, how do you confirm the quality of the product that seller ships? What if they are already sending damaged items and we don't know unless we have a bad customer review? Good question. The first thing to do is order a sample unit. This is where your supplier will give you in most cases, give you. They may charge you a sample unit for you to test it. Let's just say that it is the dog ACL brace. I have a dog, right? I'll put the ACL brace on my dog, make sure it fits well. If it does fit well, everything is good, then I would continue and order the 200 units. And then let's just say that you order your sample, it's good, you get your 200 units in, and you start getting negative reviews because the adhesive is not sticking well. I'm giving you guys a real example. Someone asked earlier if I had a product that failed. This is a product that failed. It does happen. Then I would reach out to the supplier with a contract, and the contract says if I have returns over 10% that are from the quality of the product, you owe me all the money that I paid for that product. This is a contract that the supplier signs. So I sign it, the supplier signs it. So now they're liable for paying me for the inventory if my return rate exceeds a certain percentage. It's like that's like one of my favorite tricks. That's like a good example of a tool that's in my mentorship that like you won't find elsewhere. Is like that's what I have my folks do, is put a contract into place with their supplier to protect them from inventory being bad, because that's happened to me and I learned a valuable lesson. Okay, is it about an hour a day for the first 90 days? For working, I would say it's more than an hour a day. Is there a cost involved in getting pictures? Yes. Your supplier will send you pictures, but they're not going to be good. I do pictures for folks, and to optimize all the pictures for your listing from a company like myself is like $500. I know you can do it for like $100. It's all relative to what you want to spend, just like anything in life. You can buy, a gourmet meal for $200, or you can go to McDonald's and buy a $2 meal. The gourmet meal is going to leave a lasting impression that's going to taste so good. McDonald's burger is going to leave you feeling unenergized and, lead to you feeling bad, right? So it's just kind of relative to what you're willing to put into it, in my opinion. If there's any more questions, please drop them in the chat. We're running out of time here. We're going to end in a few minutes, and I really want to answer all your questions. Again, if there's any action takers, the mentorship will close at a certain point. So it's kind of like on a first come, first serve basis. And I know that we may have already had some folks sign up. So if you're interested, now is the time to do it. I would say within the next 24 hours, it will be full. And normally once it's full like that, it stays full for a little bit. I can tell you the folks that are already in there they're staying for a while. They're in an important process of it. And then I just have folks that want to stay because they just really enjoy it. So that's important to think about. I unfortunately do not have an email to give you if you have questions later, because I do not have the time to answer questions on a day-to-day basis. I have folks that are paying for my time. I have to give my time to them. I would love to give my time to everybody, to ask, to be able to help everybody. I just don't have the time. So unfortunately, I don't have an email for you. I do have a QR code that will give you access to talk to me Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to talk to me, there's the QR code. Be an action taker, get your phone out, scan it. You can do 4 payments and interest free. I mean, that's amazing. And especially in the economy that we live in, where interest rates are like 9-10% for folks that don't have great credit. I mean, or even more expensive for folks that I know folks that have good credit above 700 and are paying 9% on vehicles, just because of the state of our economy. And we're offering it to you for 4 payments with a 10-day money back guarantee. I mean, it does not get better than that. I'm telling you, it really doesn't. It really does not. Again, guys, I'm going to stick around for about 1 more minute, and then I have to get off, and I just want to answer at least 1 more question. I'm sure someone has another good question. You guys asked some really, really great questions. I'm really, happy with the way this webinar went. Thank you guys for coming in. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, AMZ Scout, for always having me. You guys are the best. Love you guys. Last question here. Okay, so besides cost of buying products, packages, and shipping, what else would you pay for besides picks? Maybe you want to have your listing optimized, right, with highly searched keywords. Maybe you want someone to create the logo for your brand. Maybe you want to buy a sample unit. Maybe you want to, buy obviously the tools to analyze the market. Maybe you want to buy a mentorship. There's many different things that come into play that are super, super, super valuable. Someone said I stepped away and missed the offer 10 days or 3 months. Sorry. So the offer is for 3 months for the mentorship with me, but it comes with a 10-day money back guarantee, which is absolutely huge. You can rewind for a few minutes and see. Let's see here. Can't get QR code for payments. QR codes are right on the screen right now. The one to the left is for a one-time payment. The one to the right is for a 4-time payment, interest-free. Telling you guys, interest-free is crazy. That's awesome. Super, super valuable, especially because the mentorship will fill up. And again, you guys saw someone asked for my email. I can't do anything outside of this. I can't do anything for free. It has to be through the mentorship because my time is pretty valuable. And honestly, I'm a busy guy. I own 4 businesses and I have lots and lots of responsibility. All right, guys, this has been awesome. I just want to thank AMZ Scout again, and I want to thank everyone for attending and asking all the great questions. You guys are honestly awesome to talk with today. Really, really some good questions. And I know there is some action takers in here. They're going to take the next step and potentially be the next screenshot on my next webinar. I think that's so cool. By the way, the person that was on that screenshot came from a webinar a while ago, right? So it's just like it could be you. You just need to take the action in order to do so. And that is really it for me, guys. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.